Welcome back everyone to Forge of Champions. It's already the third day here. We've had 12 games thus far, every series going all the way. My name is Maurits Chronicler Meeuwsen. I'm incredibly excited to get started here with you today, the third day. We're going to have some amazing matches, but if you might have missed any of the previous ones, they're really good. You really want to watch all in the back. I'm not spoiling anything, though you might want to look away from the back later on. Go to our YouTube, LVP UK, where you can make sure that, like I said, if you missed anyone, you want to catch up in preparation for tonight, make sure that you give that a quick view. Also, on Twitter, hashtag Forge of Champions. If you got any of the previous shows, we know we're really big on that community interaction. So make sure to let us know what you think about it. And on the note, we're going to take a little look at the bracket, what we've already seen so far. As I said, already 12 games here. And Darkspawn Gaming taking on the Brotherhood 2-1. The open teams actually in general having a good performance, but not really able to make the stretch, as it's Diabolus and Phelan who are going to match up soon. But if we're going to leave the upper bracket for what it is now, we're going to take a look at the lower bracket where we see two new open teams. And we might highlight those matchups as well, as Bulldog Esports are going to take on Hybrid and Barrage looking for Orc. And the winner of those are going to take on respectively Excel and MNM Gaming. So let's take a little look at the schedule for today, because as I said, the matchups that we're going to be looking at today, first off, it's going to be Bulldog versus Hybrid. Hybrid winning the second open tournament of Forge of Champions. And then we have Barrage taking on Looking for Org, who quite obviously are still looking for Org, but it's not going to be just me who is going to be doing all the talking today. Fortunately, we got two lovely casters, so let's throw it over to Hiprain and Sin.
Thank you very much, Turbo Fitty. Hello, my name is Hiprain. I'm joined by Sin as we kick it off with day 3 here at Forge of Champions. We've got Bulldog versus Hybrid. Dragons versus dogs. I mean, thematically, dragons win this because dragons can breathe fire. Yeah. But Bulldogs, they are a team who've been playing in the UKLC, so, you know, they've got a little bit more experience to work with here.
I mean, you can have a bit more imagination. You can say something like fire-resistant Bulldogs. They could kind of try and work something out here, but I mean, all the same, they've had some imagination themselves in the fact that they've switched up a couple other members in the roster, bringing in Koki in the ADC, bringing in Cunil in that jungle position. So a different roster than we were used to seeing in the UKLC. But we'll see if those roster changes can actually be an improvement, because they did really struggle there.
Yeah, obviously Bulldog are a team who are currently in relegation here in the UK. So we have to see how they can kind of go into this matchup, because their placement in Forge won't actually affect their relegation, but what it does do is it kind of gives you a big boost to your confidence. And Hybrid are one of the 4 teams that are looking to try and take that spot from them. Obviously, relegations will be in 2 weeks' time. Next week is the finals of Forge of Champions and the playoffs and all of that. Yeah. And then the week after that, we have 3 days as we head towards relegations, finding out who our final 2 teams will be going into the next bit of the UKLC. But we head into picks and bans as the Akali gets taken away. Coward not going to get his hands onto that. Let's see what Bulldogs decide to ban here.
I can definitely argue that Hybrid has one of the best chances of any of the open teams here. Bulldog, one of the weakest teams in the UKLC, but they've got a very inexperienced roster. You look through a roster that's Zyko, Dragdar, and the Heathen have not all that much experience. You can look at Diablo, and he's had some experience in the Meisterschaft, a little bit of experience in a couple other tournaments in France, and Blyce, who's played in the Balkan Leagues up in Hungary as well. But other than that, fairly new roster, and they're coming up against a team that has a lot more experience just from having played in the UKLC.
Yeah, and I mean, Bulldog have been around for a little while within the UK as well. Yeah. It's not like UKLC was their first kind of take to the Summoner's Rift. As have to see how they're going to fare here, because obviously, as we do look at what's being taken away, no Riven, no Aurelia, those real kind of solo queue top laners getting taken away here. Kind of targeting out Blyce for the moment. It's the Silas Kaiser with the last 2 bans by Hybrid. Bulldog looking for one more.
All we need is a Vladimir ban, and it's the dream team of bans already.
All
the teams, all the champs we hate out the board already. Unfortunately, Vladimir is likely to come through in this draft, but the Jarvan being banned away, one of these strong early game junglers. One thing I do want to look at quickly, though, is Bulldog. We mentioned Koki coming in. Koki and the Cat. This is the Null All-Star bot lane. This is Null Champion the Cat coming in for Bulldog earlier on last season, and Koki now, former Grey Warwick AD carry coming in as well. So 2 very experienced players from that tournament now coming into Bulldog. I'm excited to see if they can live up to the expectations that they've created for themselves by having success in those other tournaments.
Well, lots of power picks coming through while you were talking about that. The Vladimir, like you said, going to be getting picked up, but the Rise is so much high priority. I've been off in the European Masters for the last 3 weeks, and this was one of the most hotly contested mid lane picks.
It's the Blue Juice mid laners. I mean,
I know, Blue Juice mid lane is Zed.
I know,
that's
but
what Leader's
this is the
playing,
thing. Leader's so good at Rise and Zed, these kind of more solo carry picks. And when you go to EU Masters, you've got all these guys who come in and want to solo carry. This is the pick they go for. The flexibility between top and mid going up against the Vladimir here is going to be one of the interesting parts of it, because he's good into Vladimir, but Vladimir just has to sit back and survive. So you can choose to get that positive matchup. If you can get something that's good into Vladimir in both lanes, then you just deny him the access for the free scaling in either top or mid, and that makes it far easier to take over the game.
Right, well, Zyko going to get his hands on to the Kazakhs. Most likely the Heathens can be taking that Galio. It's been a while since I've seen a Galio go into the mid lane, but a pick that we saw quite a lot picked up yesterday and the day before is going to be that Nautilus. Now, we've seen it flex so far between support and jungle. I've actually not seen this AP mid in this tournament. I have seen it already. I've played it as well. I loved it. So maybe Coward wants to pick that up, but a lot of flexibility here, because you could also go for the full tank and run the Nautilus in the top lane. So I have to see where Bulldog want to decide to put that. It feels to me like Ego Speed, not really the kind of player to be playing this Nautilus top, but we'll have to see. As the Aatrox is going to be banned away, we are still on 9.8, so it's not the changed Aatrox for the moment.
I gotta say, the Nautilus, it really seems like the cat champion here. He's the guy who's been known for playing things like the Rakan and the Leona in the past, and Thresh as well, these aggressive playmaking supports. He was forced to kind of take a step back from that in the UKLC, but I'd love to see him make a return to form by going on something like the Nautilus. However, I think it's likely to be going to Calward so they can get that jungle mid combo going. With that amount of CC, that amount of kill pressure, that duo can pick off nearly anyone.
Alrighty, let's see what Hybrid decide to ban away as their final ban here, as Vayne is going to be taken away, looking to target out some of these kind of powerful AD carries that are left open. Don't want to give Koki kind of the pick of the litter. So see what they decide to ban away. So they are thinking about it, taking their time. Going to ban away the Zoe, don't want to give that over to Coward. And actually, I can't believe I forgot about that, because this was one of his really strong picks.
He played this a ton during the UKLC. It's very common to see him on it, but with the Nautilus still available to be flexed between multiple lanes, it leaves the possibility of the Zoe coming up. You have to ban it, even if you think that Nautilus is going support.
Well, they do take themselves the Lucian as the AD carry. So if this is a Lucian Nautilus lane, if a hook lands, that is so much damage. That's a kill lane if ever I've seen one. So I have to see whether or not they decide to go for that. But like we've been talking about, it has got that flexibility, and a champion that can disengage from the Nautilus quite safely is the Sivir. So Dragar, having a little think about maybe picking up that. Does have some decent shove, especially kind of going into the later scaling of the game as well. You do outscale that Lucian. So Sivir going to get locked up here for Dragar. I have to see what they decide to go for, their mid or their top.
Have a look at the Bulldog comp for a minute here, though. If you cover up the blue man and you have a look at the other three, what does that instantly say? Heavy early game comp. A lot of CC, a lot of lockdown, a lot of high damage in the early game. And Bulldog have a lot of reliance on getting a snowball rolling early, and the only real fallback from that is the scaling of the Rise, but you want to be getting ahead massively early. But on Hybrid side now, they've got the Galio, they've got the Victor as well, and the Vladimir. They can hyper-scale to late-game team fights. And if they are able to survive, if they are not pressured too hard and survive through the early game of Bulldogs, I'm expecting them to take over come that 20-25-minute mark.
And that's the key thing, because if they do get shut down in the early game, Bulldogs should be able to run away with this. And we have seen the kind of rise in the Essence Revolution, which kind of gives you a little bit more power into going into the later game, as the Cat's going to lock in the Braum. So we've got it. We've got the mid lane Nautilus into Victor, who's very low mobility.
Yeah.
If you land a hook, you can really look to blow him up. Now, wonder if this is going to be like a Kleptomancy Victor, like we used to see in the top lane, where you just look for the Q poke.
Imagine you're playing against Victor, a guy who can put down the gravity field and slow your engages as two melee champions, trying to 2v2 against the Kazakhs as well. If you overstep even slightly into that gravity field, Kazakhs arrives, the burst damage is huge. You can turn that 2v2 very quickly. So they need to be tempered, understand their engage timings, and be very clear on their calls. Target selection, bursting down the correct target. And Calward and Cunil, the new jungler, is really going to test their communication and their synergy.
Alrighty, well, the rosters have been locked in. Definitely going to be that Nautilus mid. I'm very excited to see this.
Yeah, I mean, burst the hell out of people. You land a hook, you just throw your abilities at them, and then they just don't exist anymore.
You could actually go into, speaking to a few people, and they're talking about the Abyssal Mask mid lane as well as your first item. Then you go full AP afterwards. So you have some kind of tankiness, some kind of survivability versus this Victor.
It's the same
or you go
people
for the
used to
Proto
make.
Belt, which just gives you really good wave clear.
It's the same argument people used to make for Ryze, because basically, like, you do the same amount of damage to champions, and it takes maybe one extra ability to clear a wave. By going Abyssal Mask first, you just get all the extra mana, all the extra survivability, and because he's melee as well, it gives him the ability to use it properly. They nerfed it so that people like Ryze couldn't use it mid, and now Nautilus has the ability to use it, he's going to abuse it.
Oh man, I can't believe Nautilus is back in the meta.
I'm so happy.
I am happy. I'm not happy when there's a Nautilus in my game and it's like, oh, I can't move. That's how this game works now. You just stand still.
I mean,
forever.
it's seek and destroy. It's like literally one guy holding the other guy back while he punches them in the face, and Nautilus is holding them there while the Rek'Sai beats them to death with Conqueror.
I mean, you got the Lucian doing the one too as well. The old curb cringe punch.
It's just the whole team can buy into that now, because if you land one hook, the Braum Lucian instantly stunning somebody up, the Rek'Sai getting the knock up, there's so much CC that can come down, even just a Ryze route. This is a heavy pick comp if they can get to the point where they have the control to land a hook from out of vision, so their enemy team can't see them coming. You can pressure up with the Nautilus, force them out of their jungle. Suddenly this 5-man death ball takes over.
The scary thing though is, you know, if they can't find this pick comp, if they do kind of let this game go on, like you were saying, the scaling on the other side is going to be too much here, and Bulldogs might find themselves in a rough situation. So they have to make sure they do kind of use these pick comps early. Obviously, the Rek'Sai, fantastic early. I'm curious to see whether or not it's the Hail of Blades or the Conqueror build.
It's either the correct one or the wrong one. Conqueror being wrong, Hail of Blades is the correct one.
Well, it's the wrong one.
Oh, well, it's the more common, incorrect build for Rek'Sai. It's people realized for like one patch that Hail of Blades is insane on Rek'Sai, and then they released new Conqueror, and everybody went, nah, screw that. Let's go back to Conqueror. And it's like, did you just forget everything you learned?
It might be Infinity Edge, Rek'Sai.
Oh god, that, yeah. I know Ender's been a supporter of that ever since Selfmade built it. People have been hyping it up a lot more, but it's still like super solo queue setup. You have to have such a big advantage to make use of it and be that frontliner with full AD. Otherwise, you just get bursted instantly in that team environment if you try to go too deep. And you don't have the tank stats to make up for it.
I doubt we're going to see it.
Yeah, we're not.
I would be very surprised. I'd be kind of happy.
You have to be 1v9ing to build it. And to be fair, Selfmade was.
Alrighty, well, pretty defensive start getting started up here by these teams. There's Kino going to start up on that red buff here for the moment, while they're going to push in on that bot lane. Do you want to have a little look at actually how the kind of Lucian Braum is going to be playing out here versus the likes of the Sivir Galio? Because in my head, it feels like the Sivir Galio will just have that push advantage with the Ricochet, with the Boomerang Blades, and then obviously the Winds of War. But for the moment, he does have to be still quite careful, because the power at level 1 that Braum can offer with the concussive blows, it's disgusting.
It just gives them so much lane pressure, because you have a Sivir who just wants to sit passively back in the lane, scale into it, but they think about what they can do when they get to those later stages. What a Sivir ult does to this composition. It just turbos them all into the enemy backline. Suddenly, you've got a Victor getting the movement speed boost from his Q, running directly at your ADC with nothing to stop him. So it can fall horribly to pieces if this Sivir is allowed to get to the late game, if everybody's allowed to get to the late game. So Bulldog need to force these skirmishes, and right now they're being forced off of this one.
Well, the push pressure that Diablo did have in that lane did mean he just got himself a little bit earlier out of that mid lane, gives over the crab to Zyko. Kunil maybe wants to go and see if he can get his hands on to that bot lane one, but for the moment, just farming up his chicken.
So I like the pressure that Bulldog have had, able to constantly force down in this bot side, but because the pressure of that skirmish was up towards the top side of the map, they've not really been able to do anything with it. Really, what Kunal should have really been doing is pressuring towards the bot side, going for that bot lane scuttle, knowing it's completely free because he's got the pressure bot lane already. He doesn't need to worry about the mid lane. It's instead, it's just being forced out and allowing the Kazakhs to have a bit more of an early game than he should really be allowed at this point.
Cookie, I'm looking at the name, you know, it's making me think of Fizzy Drinks Chronicler. Got a massive 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Given to him. He wanted a can, he has a 2-liter bottle. Might have to hold that Stabilo, gets knocked up, the CC comes in, the gravity field's there, And that's first blood, nice and simple for Camille. They might just let it go around. Instant blood pool comes out by Blyce, and he has to run away.
He gets the phase rush to get out of there, but he can't cancel the TP. Is forced to follow that one through. But like we talked about in the pregame, Cunil and Calward instantly on the same page, landing the CC in a combo. They get Diablo before he can even get a response off. Through the cleanse and the flash. Well played by Bulldog, and they've got well-earned first blood.
So going back to my point, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think Chronicle was like, what the hell, man? When Will our Observer bought him a massive 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper, I was like, how can you complain about that?
I mean, it's like asking for chips and getting curly fries. It's an upgrade. Why are you complaining?
Yeah, I was wondering where you were going with that. I mean, Coke is the superior fizzy drink, to be fair.
I mean, you have the right to be objectively wrong on this broadcast.
I don't know, mate. I think I'm pretty much sure I'm right on that one. Let us know, actually. I want people to tell me.
Yeah.
What's your favorite fizzy drink?
The answer should be Pepsi Max Cherry.
We might have to talk
I'm getting some stern
We might have to talk
from
about
the production box here.
sending you home early.
Instantly, everybody looks over, shaking their heads. I know I've messed up.
Yeah. Boys, mate, can you send him off? I don't want him anymore. Where's Scoundrel? Scoundrel ate chicken wings, but were not particularly healthy, and now he feels sick.
You can check his Twitter.
Oh,
God, again!
No!
Again!
Just constantly
It
onto
happens
Diablo.
again. Oh, that's brutal. But the flash did have to be used by Cunil this time. Knowing that his flash is down from Diablo, yeah.
It's almost brutal as Scoundrel's chicken wings.
Yeah, you can check his
Yikes.
Twitter. He's like, look, I got this chicken. How have I never discovered it before? And instantly, I'm getting a call the next day, like, can you turn up? I'm kind of really ill.
You gotta be careful, dude. You gotta be careful with chicken.
Yeah.
Chicken's dangerous.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, 2 successful ganks have gone down into this mid lane. As Diablo's had a pretty rough go of it. Coward's just having a little fish around. Not found anything yet.
It's like playing hide and seek with your siblings. You know they're there. You're like, where is he?
Did your siblings have an anchor when they played hide and seek?
I did.
You walked around. I mean, you must have been stacked as a child. I mean, I'm getting mixed signals from production right now.
Do you want me to, like, oh, look at this QW from Sivir. Oh, beautiful combo to kill some inanimate objects.
Yeah, they're just animated cloth, aren't they?
Yeah.
Is that the official law?
I think that's the official law. There's some better ones. If you read through the subreddit, some people have got some better ideas. They pull the old switcheroo there.
Oh my lord. Zyko actually just like seriously outplayed him there by blast coning and then just leaping away. I like that. Good plays. All right. Well, that first Drake is an Infernal Drake, which both of these junglers should be able to get their hands on.
Yeah, because they had the
if they
pressure
get that
bot lane,
time.
because they've drafted the the Lucian Braum into the Sivir. This is kind of the fruits of your labor. You should be able to get this first dragon, especially with the pressure that they've had, allowing Calward to get these 2 kills in mid lane. They need to get the dragon off the back of this, so they've wasted their time because currently 1.5k gold up, but they've not got any plates for themselves in the bot lane where they've had all this pressure consistently. So you need to capitalize on that and turn it into a dragon.
Well, now they are. 4 members have come down to get this Infernal Drake. And this is the team that wants to snowball. This is the team that wants to play for their early game win condition. Bulldogs will get themselves the Infernal Drake. The next one's going to be an Ocean Drake, so RNG maybe not quite so in their favor for double mountains, but get that regen.
Yeah, this comp very familiar for Koki. It's very much a snowball off of the early game and then rely on your top laner to carry if it goes late. It's exactly the case as he's been playing on Grey Warwick for years, so I know he should be comfortable with this. He's normally got Prince Philip in the bot lane with him, so very smart strategic support. So they've got the cat now, much more aggressive playmaking. I want to see the mechanics show up.
Ego Speed has to flash away, gets the phase rush off, and Zyko makes his way. Hemaplay goes down onto Ego Speed, but he does lose his flash for it. Zyko hanging about.
Goes for the Q upgrade first there on the Kazakhs. There is a lot of discussion on between Kha'Zix's mains over which one you should go first. Q just definitely helps with your individual 1v1ing. It helps with your individual clear if you want to kill buffs quickly, kill like Romp quickly. But considering he's up against a Rek'Sai who wants to have these skirmishes, going for that 1v1 damage potential of meeting him in the jungle, fighting him 1v1, definitely seems like the correct option here.
Well, Dragon needs to be very careful as Kunil was hanging about in that bot lane. Didn't actually pull the trigger. They do step away. But bases were cancelled. They're looking to try and get onto this build towards the Cutlass spike here for Koki, but looks like with their bases cancelled, they're going to hang around, try and push in one more wave. Got that level 6 available on both of these bot laners.
That's like, move off to Coward, but yeah.
My hand is stuck in my shirt. There we go. I was itching my arm and my hand got stuck up my shirt.
But just to take stock of the game, still a 1k gold lead for Bulldog. They've not snowballed this game or accelerated this game anywhere near as much as I wanted to, and you can tell that from the way this has been going so far. Fairly slow, much more controlled than Bulldog has been in the past. You can look at the vision line, and the way that Kunal has been setting up this vision, directing this team, seems to be working, but all the same, not with this composition. This composition needs to force hard. It needs to be in your enemy's face, getting tower shards, trying to break that first tower before the 14-minute mark, so you can then lane swap, push in and get that top tower, start taking over the game, getting the wards down deeper so you can start making picks more consistently come the mid game. And you're not reliant on just hoping you can find another pick in lane again later and later until the point where Vladimir can actually 1v2. So they need to do something quickly, and I'm worried that they're just going to let this slip by them. Because if this does get to 20 minutes and they still haven't got like 2 towers, they still don't have that pressure, that is where you can see Blyce just win a team fight pretty much solo.
Well, Coward now has got that Proto Belt, so does have the that additional wave clear. Can look to try and get the damage down as he Proto Belts forward onto Diablo, just gets the root off, pulls him with a dredge line, ultis him thrown down, and Zyko's now making his way forward. Coward, no dredge line available, gets knocked up, no flash, and he goes down. Diablo secures the kill, but double teleports are completing. This does mean that Ego Speed's going to make his way in. The Hemo play comes down, do block it up into the Glacial Fissure. He even tries to close in. They get the gravity field onto the Cat. Bulldogs only lose 1 in the mid lane.
A lot of summoners burned as well, though, and with this control of mid, they're transitioning it into getting the Herald down. So Bulldog, they lose the kill, but they do end up picking up something in return at least. And heads up play by Kunal, again, seemingly a very strong control jungler.
All right, I'm curious to see where he decides to use this early, but they've thrown the ulti onto Koki, trying to get the taunt off. They do connect it. All of the damage and CC goes through, and Dragar will be able to pick that kill up.
See, that seems to be a miscommunication there, because he should not be under his tower. After he saw those members leave mid lane, head towards the bot lane, he knows there's no wards anywhere. He knows his support is miles away and has just been seen mid.
Oh, they go for Diablo, flashes instantly away.
See, that's the kind of respect you should have if you were Koki, but instead he gets caught out. And so Diablo is going to stay alive, but he has burned the flash, so they might just continue to look back there. Again, though, no towers, only that 1 tower shard in the mid lane, and for all the pressure they've had, the gold is now even.
Yeah, I mean, they're still fine, though. You know, it's 12 minutes into the game. Yes, you want them to be getting further ahead because they are this team who have that early kind of spike, that early pick potential.
But look even at all the plays they've made. And then think about the one play that Hybrid made. They've already got 2 shards in the bottom lane. They've already got half the tower's health bar down off of just that one play. We need to see Bulldog make something happen off the back of these plays.
We need to see Kunil try and throw down this Rift Herald and try and see where he can look to snowball.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him go bot lane, try and get Koki into a really comfortable position on this Lucian. And for the moment, he is hanging about that side of the map. Zyko also there, kind of reading that this is potentially the play that Bulldogs are looking to do.
Nice counter-ganking by Zyko here, yeah.
What he gets spotted out.
He's just going to sit. He assumes this is what they want to do. He knows the Rift Herald timing. And we said already, if they can free up this bot lane to start roaming around the map, that's where they can get the snowball really rolling.
The ward did spot him out.
Yeah.
Cat placed the ward down, instantly spots him out there. Strogard now shoving in the wave. Just very patient play by Kunil here.
If you see Zyko on this ward, then they can go for the play bot lane, perhaps, or they're just going to... Calward's going to try and collapse.
Calward must try and kill him, gets the dredge line.
Oh.
Kinill's closing in. Look at the burst onto him. Launches out a 2-man knock-up into Heaven as he does get the taunt off. Diablo comes in with the gravity field, throws down the Chaos Storm. The knockups are coming through, and Koki tries to get the flank off. It's 1 kill already picked up for Hybrid, and Zyko deletes another member. 2 for 2 in the jungle.
With that kind of burst they got off at the start, the fight should not go wrong like that. And the reason is, like we were saying earlier, when Calward and Kunal go a little bit too far forward, the turnaround from this comp that Hybrid has, the gravity field catching them out, they get so much damage done to them. And even though it's a 2 for 2 off the back of it, in that position, Hybrid shouldn't be able to get that much off the back of it.
Oh, they weren't able to get the plate as well. Zyko now making his way in, flashes in for the Hemo, Plague onto Ego Speed, turns into a puddle of ketchup. The Realm Warp's coming in, and Ego Speed will not get his taxi away as he falls down. Zyko secures another kill.
And Blyce, he's starting to turn that. This is the point where the matchup can turn when you have the Proto Belt, when you have the all-in potential on Vladimir. We said it would be around 15 to 20 minutes they could start taking over. And that is what is allowing now Blyce to start snowballing through the top lane. They can start looking to get these towers down and start roaming around the map to make teamfights happen. Because this is what they want. They want 5v5s. They've got a comp that's really good at 5v5, but Bulldog, they want to get an advantage and skirmish with numbers advantages because they have control, because they have the vision. They don't have that right now, and that's where they're slipping.
But this Riftailed just about to time out, so Kinil actually trying to see if he can place it here in this mid lane, try and get some gold onto Calward, who, with this Proto Belt, should be able to shove out the way fairly quickly. The Cat also grouping up the rest of the team, but now they're looking for a play. As we get a replay, there was a play happening in that top lane as... What happened? What happened there?
It looks like the Rise gets the 1v2, gets a 1-for-1 off the back of it, killing the jungler, as in mid lane. The Herald does go down and gets a tower, so... a decent amount of gold going for Bulldog, but all the same, every single time Bulldog do something, Hybrid are able to respond. And that play in the top lane being made, giving the Vladimir even more control on the top side, is the price. And this Dragon, 2-Dragon threshold they've got over can maybe be enough for Bulldog to start looking later into the game, where they can maybe get that Elder Dragon as a win condition, even if it does go later. But it's still a pipe dream.
I mean, they're still trying to push their advantage. They got that first turret blood in that mid lane. They're now rotating multiple members towards the bot side, so they should be able to get that. Blyce will answer out here, though, getting himself a turret. So Hybrid do at least trade a turret for turret. The gold lead dead even still between these two teams, as now we can see the play, but we missed earlier when we decided to recap on another play. Wait, this isn't even the play. Okay.
Well then.
Sure. We're getting hard trolled right now, my dude. I want to see what happened totally, because Ego Speed actually went 1-for-1 in a 2v1 as he got dove.
He managed to turn it around, at least get one, yeah. But Blyce getting that kill again. You can see now he's 1-0-1. The Proto Belt completed. He's got that 30 magic penetration as well. He's got a decent amount of 1v1 potential. And if you can start transitioning that into landing a big AoE ultimate down and teamfight threatening them out, Bulldog is going to struggle. So the issue I've got right now is that Bulldog have a playstyle and a comp that are entirely polarized from each other. The playstyle has been control, get objectives, get the vision down, deny Hybrid the ability to get into our faces, get into our jungle. And the comp just says, we want to get into your face, we want to push further, we want to force our advantages as far as they can go. And so it's just meant that the game slowed down so dramatically that Hybrid are being allowed to get into the game when they shouldn't have been this far in the first place. They should be down 3k gold, they should be struggling to force any kind of fight.
Well, they're grouping up in the mid lane. 3 members, kind of set themselves up for 1-3-1 here at 17 minutes as they are a little bit lost on where to go right now. They maybe just want to rotate towards this top side, as they are going to lose the turret here in the bot lane. So Hybrid doing a good job to answer out on the objectives here, forcing down Bulldog to go even on turrets, but they will at least be able to trade out in this mid top lane. Kunil and Calward should be able to take this objective, but already Koki and the Cat have been sent into the mid lane because 2 members are sieging into their mid lane turret. This might be a little bit dangerous for them. Might take a fair amount of damage.
And they're pushing in the bot lane as well. They're still getting damage down on that bot lane tower, and the gold lead is in Hybrid's favor. It seemed like the tempo of has been entirely in Bulldog's control the entire game. So now that the gold is swinging the other way, it's showing that they're not doing enough with this tempo lead. They're not getting enough off the back of it. And like we've been saying, the fact that they didn't get those tower shards is now costing them dearly.
It really is. Literally, they are neck and neck on gold. I want to see, hopefully we can toggle the gold and see who's actually got what, but Felitan, just everyone's pretty much equal at this point. As they're unable to find that pick onto Dablo because he's playing nice and safe. You can see they're looking for these plays. They're looking for their openings.
Yeah.
Got the Oblivion Orb. Thank you very much, Observer, for bringing up the gold. Yeah, I mean, mid lane there's a bit of a disparity, but it's being made up in the top lane. Actually, it's not.
Yeah, it's the support's got a 400 gold lead. The top lane's got a 300 gold lead. So it's just the 700's being made up in multiple places, and it's just meaning that the teams are coming out about even right now. But you think about who that benefits most, and it's Hybrid because they have the Vladimir, because they have the Victor that we know can become these late game team fighting monsters.
And their team fighting, yes, is very good, but you do have to keep in mind they still have a fair amount of pick potential for Bulldog. Even into the late game, they always have the win condition, but if like a hook finds its perfect mark, they can look to throw that depth charge down. They can actually look to try and isolate a single member and slow down Hybrid as they approach that kind of ramping up into the team fighting stage of the game. And they're not quite there yet. They've still got a ways to go before they hit that point. So Bulldog,
this is the kind of
we're
game
talking
where...
about how they haven't been able to push their early game advantage. Yes, but they are still, it's only 19 minutes in. They've still got plenty of time before this game really goes into a point where it runs away from them. And they might just try and see if they can get something like an early Baron, because that'd be a great condition for them to try and be able to take some objectives. And they're moving around, clearing out the vision around this side of the map. You can see that they're definitely aware that this is potentially a condition for them to pull this game into their favor. Zyko has to leap away as the Cat and Koki were hanging about looking for a pick.
So the clock here for Bulldog is very defined, though. They have to get these kills and these picks before we see just 5 stopwatches come out from the side of Hybrid. By the time those stopwatches come around, like you can land a Nautilus hook, doesn't matter, you just stopwatch, suddenly you've got a Galio on your ass, suddenly you've got Vladimir, you've got these TPs coming in, and the collapse that comes from a team that has a Sivir and a Galio is huge. So you need to be making these capitalization plays before we get to that phase.
Man, that's so sad. The minion walked out in front of the hook. They really tried for the play. Zyko should be able to get this Ocean Drake here, which is nice for them. They equalize out on the Ocean Drake score. Don't give Bulldog too many Oceans to kind of play that Baron dance with, because you do regen in the Baron with the Ocean Drakes at the moment. Well, the Infernal Drake is going to be the next one, so this will be definitely a hotly contested Drake. This will be one that we expect to see both Bulldog and Hybrid fight for.
There's one more item I'd say is really the thing. You're seeing like nearing 2 items for everybody on Hybrid. Once you see that 2.5, 3 item point, that's where the top goes into a maximum overdrive.
Zyko makes his way out. Did dodge out on a hook, because I actually think if that hook landed, he would have just got chain CC'd to death.
I mean, you could say that for pretty much anybody in the game right now.
I'm waiting for it to happen, right? Like, that's all I'm waiting for. It's just that
but
one
again,
big hook.
This is the phase where Bulldog look like they don't know what they're doing, because they needed to have the vision control deep into the enemy jungle to be able to set up these Nautilus hooks where they can catch somebody where they can't see the hook coming. But right now they're just fishing for blind hooks. They're hoping they can just land something out of the blue and catch an opponent out of position. You can't just rely on that consistently. You need to be able to set up these plays where you're catching an enemy on a rotation while they don't have vision of you, while you have more members than them in one position, so you can make it happen a lot easier. And right now the issue is they never had the control to get the wards any deeper than the river.
Now you can see the Morellos and the Proto Belt being picked up for Coward, Cleaver and Blade the Ruin King for Koki. So they're in a very comfortable position. This is when their team is kind of at that big, big spike. Dragar with the Essence Reaver and the Rapid Fire Cannon. Once that Infinity Edge comes up, that's when the Sivir spike really starts to ramp up nice and quick, and we'll be able to just clear through these waves faster than Bulldogs can deal with, because the Victor Sivir means taking objectives without a Baron buff, especially at this point in the game, is just so hard to do.
Yeah.
And that's why you see Bulldogs constantly clearing out any wards that get placed on this side of the map. Look at the control. Look at the vision Bulldogs are playing with.
This control around Baron is the upside. They've been dancing around this back and forth between Baron and mid lane consistently. And it's meant that they can look for hooks like this.
Heaven gets CC'd, blown up as Koki secures that kill. Nice and simple. Zyko will be able to clear out some of the waves.
And look what happens when you get the vision. You can make plays like that because people have to face check. They have to check if you're doing Baron because you have that level of control. Finally, they get the play working. They get the pick, and it's before we see stopwatches come through from any of the side of Hybrid. Now, this means that they have the control to go for Baron, and there's no follow-up engage. There's no hard engage. The engage before, it's just Vladimir diving in, Zyko diving in, and then having the Galio on top of it.
Oh, the hook found its mark. That's
the
the damage you need. And down goes one. Diablo trying to run away. The Void Rush by the Quinil does come through. The Blast Cone is cancelled out. And they get themselves 2 quick kills, and this should be all Bulldog need to turn towards the Baron.
And we were saying it before, the pick potential is still well and truly alive for the side of Bulldog. And they force it into the Baron. Now they don't have the best damage at this point of the game, but still between the Rek'Sai and the Lucian, they are burning this down.
They also have that Rise as well, who should be able to kind of take through it nice and quick.
Rise now here. That's going to help, but we'll see if they can try and get anything in response. They're forcing towards the bottom side of the map, so maybe they're going to at least get a tower in response before the recall gets off. That's the best they can hope for.
It's going to be their consolation prize. Let's look at this hook. Oh, Drogar.
Yeah, as the ADC, you shouldn't really be stepping up there, and that's the inexperience costs him as Kunal on the other side has been playing really well, you have to say, today.
Diablo thought he was on the cone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's not quite the gadget play of earlier today, MSI gadget, like using Blast Cone so effectively. I saw it for the first time. He's at Heimerdinger. He puts 3 turrets down on the Blast Cone, auto-attacks them to send the turrets into the pit, and then starts fighting Dragon over the wall.
That's nuts.
And it was just like, he leashes it perfectly for his jungler, and he's already done like 3k damage to it by the time his jungler turns up. It was like,
that's actually nuts. I didn't watch MSI this today.
I think, what was it? The tweet from Shikara is like, he's playing 4D underwater chess while we're all playing checkers.
That is so lit.
Yeah. There's some really nice things you can do with Blast Cones. It's just a case of they're so niche and so few and far between that you end up seeing more plays where somebody knocks their teammate over a Blast Cone like Splice.
I mean, the one I saw was the Olaf Ragnarok and then autoed the Blast Cone, and it was like, it doesn't work like that. That's just not how that ability works.
Yeah.
That was so bad. Too sad.
It's painful because they just end up standing there on top of it like, I see.
It was funny to watch.
And now with this Baron here, we can see that the pressure is piling. The waves are starting to collapse inwards. And even though Zyko is going to be able to get this dragon, it looks like he's trying to sneak it away.
Well, actually, they're making their way towards it. I have to check the health. It is 3k at the moment. Cornell
he's going to get this.
Might just make his way over. Jumps in time. Not going to be enough. And Zyko should be able to secure that objective as the rest of the team now chasing in. Blade the Ruin King used onto Zyko, but the cat comes in. They've used the Realm Warp, and the flash comes out by Zyko. So he makes his way away nice and safe.
Pulls the grand heist and gets out alive.
I mean, we're equal on Drakes now. Sorry.
Like, he should not have been able to get that Drake, and in doing so, he wasted 30 seconds, 40 seconds of Bulldog's Baron buff there. Massive advantage for his team, just from him pulling the Metal Gear Solid play. And so now we're just sitting 3k in the lead for Bulldog. Even on Dragons, Tower's not that far ahead, but they have to do something with the last of this Baron buff. If they can at least force another tower or force a fight. Yeah,
you good, dude?
That's going to get them a tower. That's the kind of thing we needed to see if they can force it.
Ego Speed has been kind of like subtly farming up this whole time as the On the Hunt gets used by Drogar. They're actually trying to close in and see if they can find some kind of an opening, but just can't find anything. That's an ultimate used by Drogar to try and get themselves on to the members of Bulldog, and doesn't cost them anything for Bulldog. They get their turret, they step away, and using this Baron very effectively is now Coward in this lane. The Kunil takes the ulti from Diablo. Lots of damage thrown onto him to the Hemo Plague. And Hybrid do answer out, find themselves one quick kill onto the jungler of Bulldog.
But now that's less than 3K, so Hybrid's still in this, well and truly. They've got the ability to survive, stall, and we know that the kill potential is there if they can just get some vision back on the maps. They need to find more picks like they did there onto Cunal, and if they find more of those, they can transition that into mid lane tower, into deeper vision, into more control to deny Nautilus ever being able to land a hook, unless it is just somebody massively mispositioned.
So Keki's now picked up that Phantom Dancer, so it's going to be even harder for Zyko to find that assassination off onto him when you've also got to work through the cat. But 5 members here of Hybrid hanging around in this mid lane, seeing if they can try and crack down this turret. Bulldog kind of split around the map or unable to answer out. So Hybrid do just get himself a free turret, pull themselves back just down 1 turret to Bulldog, which is not the end of the world for them. They're doing a good job to keep themselves relevant in this game. Now, the gold lead in the last few minutes have slipped in favor of Bulldog, but you got 1 minute 50 until this Baron comes up. I expect to see Bulldog start to switch their vision towards this part of the map. And again, just remain in control. Look for those picks from the kind of fog of war was the one. I forgot the name of it for a minute there. Which worked out so well for Bulldog.
You got, even if it does get to the late game, like even if Hybrid's armies do come, they take over, they can get the game to a point where they can get these fights consistently. Ego is slowly expanding in the side lane. He's getting larger and larger, more unmanageable, to the point where even if he can't save Bulldog, he will avenge them. And it's just going to be a case of he can go 1v3 in that side lane before too long. So you need to do something about this Rise to stop him just sitting in the side lane consistently and forcing a fight 5v5, 5v4, finding a way to get into the face of Bulldog is the way to do that for Hybrid.
Well, they're moving in. They're trying to clear out these wards here, Camille. We'll throw out a Void Seeker. Zyko knows what's going on, but jumps forward for the cat. The hook goes a little bit wide, but Coward holds his ulti, doesn't go for that depth charge, and they just find themselves a couple of wards. Force a couple of members out. Blyce just fat-fingered the Zhonya's.
At least the Zhonya's are not a stopwatch, so...
I mean...
Yeah. We've
Take what you want from that,
What was that one game where I was here before where there was the double supports in the same game, both pop Zhonya's randomly?
That was snuggly, but they throw out everything. No Zhonya's available. The root has come forward into the ulti by Heban. And over the wall, Diablo goes golden. They've thrown out the gravity field to pin him in place. Nobody's died quite yet. The GAs, the Reses are coming in, and Ego Speed is low HP. Heban jumps in. Camille makes his way out, and Diablo secures the first kill of the fight. Bulldog unable to get anything as the cat gets ripped through. The health bars are low. Coward's down, and Keiki trying to get the damage off, but everybody wipes them down, and Diablo comes up huge. Hybrid with the ace.
And for so long in that fight, Cunal was holding off the team 1v3, 1v4, but the rest of Bulldog could not capitalize. They couldn't do anything. They couldn't get through the Galio, and that meant that Hybrid, they could stall it out, they could play the fight slowly, and they turned it on right at the end. They managed to capitalize, get all the damage down, and now they're going to get a Baron off the back of it. And we said, if it got past that 25-minute mark, if it got to those 3 item points, we saw the stopwatches come through, we see those 2 Zhonyas now. That is the point where Hybrid can take over, and they are well and truly doing it.
There's a big wave crashing into this turret here in the bot side, but with Camille back alive, with the rest of the team back alive, it's not going to fool the turret, but the turret did take a lot of damage during that team fight. Bulldog definitely starting to struggle now. That team fight comp you're talking about really coming up huge. And let's have a little look at this fight once again. Yeah,
it's when Hybrid get to dictate the tempo, the pace of a fight, that is when they are the strongest. You saw what happened here was the Sivir ult is popped, they can zone so many members away, and as Cunal's trying to get an assassination, the rest of Bulldog are being zoned away. They can't get onto the back lane. They can't get onto these key damage dealers through the choke point. So Cunal's left stranded until this 4-man taunt from the Galio allows them to turn it around.
I mean, just watching that fight back, they used everything to try and kill Blyce. He just Hemoplagued them and sustained with the transfusion that Hemoplague. If they had focused like an actual killable target, maybe that fight would have been very different, where they could have turned to Blyce when there was no one else also adding damage. But remember, there is still that pick we've been talking about here for Bulldog, and Coward now with that ulti available. He's at level 18 and Ego Speed doing some serious damage. Great block up by the cat. The Ocean Drake has spawned up. It looks like it is Hybrid who have the inside track on that objective for the moment.
These are the trying times, though, for Hybrid. They've got 2 minutes to make something happen. They've got 2 minutes to prove that they are worthy of being a UK LC team, and get the pressure onto Bulldog and show that they can be a threat. And with the promotion relegation system coming up harsh on the horizon. This is a big statement to take that
Ulti's
Bulldog
been used. They're throwing the teleports in. Coward hasn't joined up with the rest of the team. That wave being pushed up as the turret is already low HP. Keneal takes so much damage by Diablo. Turret will go down. The Chaos Storm thrown out by Diablo for the moment. The health bars starting to be burnt a little bit low for Koki and the rest of Bulldogs as the inhibitor will now fall. Bulldogs can't answer out, but Coward maybe looking for something.
1 minute 20 left. They managed to force and get the inhibitor, first inhibitor of the game, broken. And this shows you here, though, the fact that Bulldog had control for so long. They had the Baron buff earlier, and they couldn't do anything with it. They got shut down after getting only one tower. Hybrid have stalled out this game effectively, and they played to the win condition throughout. Now it's paying dividends.
The cat almost gets stunned up by the gravity field, but using this Baron very effectively for Hybrid here. 33 minutes on the clock. And they're looking to take themselves this turret. Coward tries to clear out with the Proto Belt, but the ricochets, the tides of blood, all of the burst damage of the death lasers coming through from Diablo, just picking away a Bulldog's health bar before they can find that big engage, before they can find that opening. Bulldog's just playing this fantastic, Hybrid playing this fantastic into Bulldog here. So much poker. Now they throw out Chaos Storm onto Coward. It's going to force him away. This turret will just have to go down as forfeit.
This is what you can do. But Zyko, no GA, goes
Zyko's going to go down, but look at the tides of blood onto multiple members. Blyce trying to get that assassination off. Already found himself one. The culling comes down, and the lasers are going to look to burn up multiple members. A hook comes down by Coward. He does have the ulti, but he's going to go golden for the moment. Instantly fried alive as he is going to go down. And Bulldogs, only with 3, are looking to defend. They've got a teleport coming in for the side of Hybrid. And somehow Bulldogs have to defend here. One turret is down. The other one's still got a lot of HP.
I think they can do it.
Off Blythe. Tanks a little damage, but he's still fairly comfortable. His hat is low. Jumps out for the moment, turning into a puddle of ketchup as Blythe gets rooted up and taken down. The Nexus being focused here by Hybrid. And they're looking to close game 1 out. Nice and simple over Bulldog.
We're in a familiar position where the underdog team has taken game 1 in the series. It's been very similar throughout the last few days, but this time it maybe feels a little bit different. We saw that at no point did it really seem like the game was out of hand in that game at all for Hybrid. They were able to control, stall, and play to their win condition. They knew how they were going to play that game out from the moment it started. And it never really got to a point where they thought, we can't do anything about this. This is out of control. We can't get back into it. They always had those windows, and they capitalized on them.
Yeah, they did play that late game very, very well then for Bulldog. You know, maybe some questions coming into their early game because they picked an early game comp and they didn't really execute on it. Yeah. You do have to kind of sing some praises towards some of the mid lane stuff early with the jungle mid synergy where they got 2 successful ganks off, but like you said, the ganks worked, but they didn't translate it into anything. They didn't get the plates, they didn't get the gold, so they weren't able to snowball their early game.
They got to the point where they'd made like 3 solid plays and the bot lane had been pressuring the entire first 10 minutes. They still hadn't got a single tower shard. And that's an issue. You need to capitalize on your lane advantages to be able to get those tower shards, to get a gold advantage, snowball the game, and they just couldn't do it.
Well, with that, that's going to be game 1 over to Hybrid. But you know the rules around here at Forge of Champions. We play best of 3. So we're going to come back, and after a break, we're finding out whether or not this dragon breathes fire or if this Bulldog can bite back. So don't go anywhere. We'll see you in a second.